Hello everybody, this is John Doe from Dueling Network. Today I'll be doing another file. So today I'll be discussing the new archetype that just went to on Dueling Network, Fire King Avatar. It's also been really popular lately. So let me just first discuss what the deck is mainly about. Let me explain. Give me an example first to make it easier. This deck is kind of like scraps, in which they destroy themselves and they get a certain effect. So let me just discuss all their effects, and then I'll explain some other things that are interesting about them. So, with Fire King High Avatar Garunix, which is supposed to be the main card of the deck, during the next standby phase, after this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon this card from the graveyard. When you do, destroy all other monsters on the field. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can send to the graveyard. Sorry, you can special summon one Fire King monster from your deck, except this card, of course. Unfortunately, that'd be a little too overpowered. Then we have Fire King Avatar Barong. If a face-up Fire King monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. During the next time I face after this card is destroyed by a card effect instead of the graveyard, you can add one Fire King card from your deck to your hand. And by the way, just in case you didn't know this, you can actually put Fire King's Fire Ring to your hand, and you can also put in Onslaught of the Fire Kings to your hand. Even though it doesn't say specifically Fire King, it has Fire King in its name, which is why it works. And yes, there is a ruling, and I've seen the ruling before. I can't think of another ruling that actually helped. I think Messenger Lotto would be a good example, because you can just put any Medolce card to its, well, that's not a good example, sorry. I can't think of anything right now, but you can actually put either of these two cards to your hand. But next card we have Fire King Avatar Yaksha. If a face-up Fire King monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy one card in the field or in your hand. This card's effect can only be activated once per turn. And now the last Fire King monster would be Fire King Avatar Killin. If a face-up Fire King monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If then this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, send one fire monster from your deck to your hand. To the graveyard, sorry. And if I mispronounce any of these words, any of these names, I'm sorry if I do anything wrong. People keep complaining that I mispronounce some words. I don't care. I'm sorry, okay? Whatever. But anyway, as you can see, most of the half these archetype monsters activate only by being destroyed by a card effect, while the other half, Barong and Garunix, while Yaksha and Killin, whoever, can either be destroyed by battle or by card effect. So that's pretty interesting to have, just in case. Okay, so now for the spell cards, Fire King's Fire Ring. Target one fire monster you control and one fire monster in the graveyard. Destroy the first monster, and if you do, special summon the second monster from your graveyard. You can only activate one Fire King's Fire Ring per turn. Okay, so this card really helps out with destroying any of your cards. You want to get their effects afterwards. But then we have Onslaught of the Fire Kings. If your opponent controls a monster, you control no monster. Special summon one fire beast / beast warrior / winged beast type monster from your deck. But but its effects are negated, and it will be destroyed during the end phase. You can only activate one per turn, whatever. So again, it helps you out with more destruction, and you can also special summon a Garunix from your deck, and probably get it's an easy card to get out with the Onslaught of the Fire King, because you get an easy beat stick, and then during the next standby phase, which is probably going to be your opponent's, obviously going to be your opponent's turn, you destroy everything on the field anyway, so you get quite a bit of effects right there. Okay, so now let me just discuss one more thing before I do the deck profile. If you didn't notice already, there is a loop. Yes, there is a loop in the Fire King Avatar deck. So, let me just tell you the, conditions, the way to actually do this. You will need, and there are other ways of doing this, but there's really only one very popular way, easiest way to do this. You will need two Fire King High Avatar Garunixes. One will be in the graveyard, and one will be face up on your side of the field. It could also be face down. I'm not really sure. But you also have to have Fire King's Fire Ring. I'm not sure if you need to have it face up. I'm not really sure, but usually you're probably gonna put it face up anyway. So here's what you do. You destroy. You activate the Fire King's Fire Ring. Destroy the first Fire King Hive Avatar Garunix to special summon the second one from your graveyard. And then after that, during the next standby phase, it'll special summon the Garunix the second Garunix's effect goes off, and then destroys the first Garunix, and then it just keeps continuing like that. Technically, it's a forever loop. It's never gonna stop unless your opponent or you somehow stop it. A way of doing it is destroying this card by battle, but then you can still special summon another Fire King monster, so it wouldn't really be a big deal anyway. And also, getting rid of this card, like removing it from the field without putting it into the graveyard or destroying it. Well, actually, even if you destroy it, as long as it's not going into the graveyard, that's useful. Like if you banish it with Karmic Cut, or if you put it to its hand, to your hand with a compulsory evacuation device. So yeah, that's the loop, and it's actually really good. So let's finally get to the deck profile. I've been discussing about this deck. I've been talking about this deck for too long. Okay, so let's first off, we have 19 monsters, 14 spells, and 8 traps. So we first have 1 Pyrex, the Elemental Lord, which is the newer Elemental Lord. You of course have to have exactly 5 fire type monsters in the fire attribute monsters in your graveyard. So summon this card, and then you can destroy target 1 monster your opponent controls, and then both players takes damage equal to half of the original monster's attack. 2 Garunixes, 1 Sacred Phoenix Nephthys, which is basically has the same exact effect except for the as Garunix, except for the when this card is destroyed by battle. And also, instead of destroying monsters, it destroys all spells and traps. Then we have 2 Fire Dogs, since all these Fire King monsters get, Fire King monsters have 200 defense. I can use Flimfell Fire Dog's effect and get an easy XYZ summon if I want to. We have 3 Barongs, 3 Yakshas, 2 Enthusiastic Beast Wolfberg, which allows me to special summon 1 Fire Beast Warrior type monster from my graveyard. And by the way, it's not when it's this card doesn't have to be just normal summon to activate its effect. It can be it's actually a I think an ignition effect. Yeah, an ignition effect in which you can do it once per turn. You can continuously do it if you want. So you can technically actually just keep it face up on the field forever, and then just continuously special summon your level 4 monsters. Then we have 2 Fire King Avatar Quillins to put these monsters to the graveyard, or even have some control with the Elemental Lord. Then we have 1 Maxi and 2 Effect Villas for the hand traps. Now for the spells, we have Dark Hole, 2 Fire King's Fire Ring, 3 Fire Dance Tenkeys, which allows me to put a Wolberg, Yaksha, Barong. I believe that's it, but it allows me to put all those cards in my hand, and it also makes them get 100 more attack power points, and it's quite useful to have it. Then we have 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Mind Control, 1 Monster Reborn, 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, 2 Onslaught of the Fire Kings, and 1 Pot of Avarice. I also used to have 2 Pot of Dualities, but I got rid of them because I felt like I supposed to summon too often anyway. Now for traps, we have 2 Bottomless Trap Holes, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Judgment, 2 Warnings, and 2 Torrentials. And now for the extra deck, we have 1 Heretic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis, 1 number 15, 1 Utopia, 1 Utopia Ray, 1 Shockmaster, 1 Fierce Leader of the Fire Fist Tiger, 1 Photon Butterfly Thing. They should call it Butterfly Thing. I think everyone will be much happy with that. 1 Corn, 1 Dia Wolf, the Terror Thing, which is also one of the newer XYZ monsters, 1 Roach, 1 Djinn, 1 Abyss, 1 Gaga Cowboy, and now for the synchros, we have 1 Rose and 1 Ally Justice Catastor. And I always put these cards in the deck because I always put these 2 cards inside the extra because you have to be careful. You have to be you have to be just in case you ever actually wanted this. Plus, I have 2 of the effect values anyway. So now for the cards, I actually help this deck out. Enthusiastic Beast King Bearman, which Bearman, which helps me out if I actually put if I want to actually see something. And by the way, I forgot, I used to do this. The side deck is now showing you cards that will be helping you out with the deck in making it stronger, or some other cards that you might want to test to see if this deck would be good. There actually are quite a bit of other cards I could have put inside the side deck. This is obviously not my real side deck. I have a much better side deck, but these are the cards that help you out. But these are the cards that you might consider actually putting inside the deck. So then we have one Spirit. Then there's Spirit of Flames, which can help out with the XYZing again. Prominent Knight helps out with putting fire monsters to the graveyard. Inferno, which actually does basically the same thing as Spirit of Flames. If you can use this card instead if you want to like do like 1500 damage to your opponent. And Summon Monk, since you do have quite a bit of spell cards, but I decided not to put it in because I just feel like it's basically the same thing as Flamvel Fire Dog, only Flamvel Fire Dog doesn't go minus. So then Rekindling helps out if you want to go for like that easy XYZ summon, like you special summon like 2 of these. All the Fire King monsters except the Garunix have 200 defense, which I feel like was really unnecessary for the Konami to do, but at least they don't have any tuners or anything, so they can't do anything like that. But you can actually just mix them with levels, which I will discuss later. So then we have Backfire, when a fire monster on your side of the field is destroyed and sends a graveyard and inflicts 500 damage to your opponent. So this card could help out with doing some burn damage if you ever want that to happen. Destruct Potion, you can destroy a monster you control, and then you gain life points equal to that monster's attack. You then get to activate their effect, so you can go plus right there. Fire Dance Tenkin, which can help out with protecting your monsters from card effects that are destroyed or whatever, and also boosting. Fire Dance Tensen, just basically attack power, and Horn of the Phantom Horn of the Unicorn, Horn of the Phantom Beast, which basically does the same thing as Tenkin, Tensen, sorry. But this card allows you to at least like draw a card if you destroy your opponent's monster. Needle Ceiling is good if you have like exactly 4 monsters on the field, but I decided not to put it inside the deck. I know Busfair actually did. Busfair is actually one of the more popular people who play this deck, but I decided not to because it's not very consistent. For the most part, you're really not going to have very many monsters on the field all the time. In fact, in this deck, you don't actually special summon not special summon. You don't actually summon you don't swarm too often. I mean, you can, but you're not going to do it too often. I'm a very conservative player, so I'm not going to really swarm every single time. If I know I'm going to win, I'm just going to win. But if I don't think I'm going to win, like if I can't win this turn, then that's okay. And I always have a backup plan. So then there's Spiritual Fire Art, Kurenai, but unfortunately, Kurenai, Yugi, what? Okay, whatever. If you didn't know who Kurenai is, that's like a character from Naruto. I'm a big nerd about Naruto. I am big nerd. I'll admit it. But anyway, this card at least does some more burn damage. If you want to play a burn version of Fire Kings, but this card unfortunately tributes, and your monsters have to be destroyed by card effect, so you don't get the effect. But it would be interesting to see this card once in a while. Now some other now there are the archetypes you can combine with the Fire Kings if you want to see a different version of it. Fire Fist could actually mix with them if you want to get easy access to the dance spell or trap cards. Lavels for synchroing, and I also thought of a hero version, but I didn't have enough room in here. Pile of Duality would also be a really good card to help out for this deck too. What else? I can't think of very many things right now, but Call the Haunted, actually, I forgot. Call the Haunted actually really is good for this deck because you can chain, like if your opponent uses Mystical Space Typhoon on the face down Call the Haunted, you can chain it, and then you can special summon a Garunix or like a Barong or whatever, any of the Fire King monsters. You can then special summon, and then when they're destroyed, since it's going to be destroyed by the Call of the Haunted effect, they get their effect, depending when, like usually during the standby phase. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, or comments, please comment below. And also, if you guys have any other cards that you think would help out with this deck, or help out my build, you can go ahead, please comment below. Tell me what you think I should do with this deck. I think it's pretty solid. I decided to go for the basic consistent build, but there are other builds to help out with this deck. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Merp!